Joining us right now from our Los Angeles bureau, Geraldo Rivera with hilarious lip flap. Good morning to you.
Read my lips. Good morning.
Okay. Hey, Geraldo, let's talk about what the Attorney General's Department of Justice found in the Ferguson
everybody.
shooting.
Good morning to you.
Okay, we'll backtrack.
You know, the Ferguson decision.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The Ferguson decision, I hope, starts to calm things down, because now you have the Justice Department of the United States, led by Eric Holder, who visited Ferguson, Missouri, and now they have investigated, and I assume they investigated from a hostile point of view, looking to overturn what the state did in essentially exonerating the officer in the death of Michael Brown. We all anticipated that maybe the feds would be under pressure or be self-motivated to find some evidence there that the cop acted in a way that deprived Michael Brown of his civil rights. The feds have looked at it, however. They have found that the state authorities were correct, that this hulking brute of a man, I think the case was finished once we saw the video of Michael Brown in the convenience store where he menaces the store clerk and all the rest of that. And there were more video, more photos that surfaced that showed that police work is like war fighting. If you haven't done it, you don't understand the pressures unless you are really introduced to the facts and circumstances in the environment that an officer has to deal with them. And I think that the fact that it led to this rioting in Ferguson is a national tragedy. I have to hasten to add, guys, and Elizabeth, that there is no doubt that there is a situation where we have to understand that too many black kids are being killed in dramatic confrontations with cops, that cops have to have tasers, not tanks, that cops have to have body cameras. All of that I support. But clearly, we have to understand the pressure and the dangers that officers, as the officer in the Michael Brown case, faced, and understand that it's easy for us to armchair quarterback, a lot different in their system.
Well, sure, and many statistics have as well, Geraldo, and you know this too, that those black deaths oftentimes are caused by a black person in some communities, and we've gone through those stats before. Let me ask you this, though. There were some emails, okay? There was an article out in the AP, and it referenced an email on November 10th that showed Governor Nixon ordering the National Guard to stand down during the riots post-exoneration, right, in terms of this trial here. What charges, if any, can he face? Because this was one of the most violent moments, perhaps, that we moved into. And then you hear now that he said to the National Guard, stand down.
Could have saved a lot of businesses.
Even before that, I think that Michael Brown's stepfather could easily have been indicted for inciting a riot when he was saying, once he heard the decision to burn this place down. I think that that was clear evidence of a crime being committed. In terms of Governor Nixon, however incompetent he may have been as commander of the Missouri National Guard, that's a political question. It's not a legal question. I don't see a lawsuit there. However misguided and naive he may have been in making that decision, it's not about the courts now. It really is about the electoral process. He had months
to get ready for it. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Putting more people at risk.
Let's change gears, though, and talk about the American Sniper movie, again being attacked, this time by Rolling Stone in great detail. One of the quotes is this, Geraldo: "The Sniper is a movie whose politics are so ludicrous and idiotic that under normal circumstances it would be beneath criticism. The only thing that forces us to take it seriously is the extraordinary fact that an almost exactly similar worldview consumed the walnut-sized mind of the president who got us into the war in question." That's Matt Taibbi of Rolling Stone. Your reaction?
I like Matt Taibbi and the Taibbi family, good reporters generally speaking, but this is also a very naive and distorted view of war fighting. I said that police work and war fighting, if you haven't been there, you don't know what you're really talking about. The American Sniper movie, I haven't seen the movie. I've read the book. This is a legitimate story about an American hero, Chris Kyle. What people have to understand about snipers, first of all, is that however deadly and however murderous their skill, they are actually, in a sense, and this sounds bizarre, humanitarians. Why? Because there's no collateral damage. They don't kill. It's not like dropping a bomb on a neighborhood. You kill grandma and grandpa trying to get your terrorist. A sniper goes for the bad guy. He gets it. Chris Kyle did it at least 160 times. And I think that this kind of disrespect and who can criticize and who can't criticize, I don't care. Anyone can criticize. This is the First Amendment. Everybody's got the right to say anything they want, whether they're in Paris or in New York or in Los Angeles. That's fine. But I think that what people have to understand is when you're in the brutality of war, you're trying to take out a specific bad operator who's going to do awful things. That is a lot better than bombing a whole neighborhood and getting all the collateral damage. And then when these guys come home, and that's what I think that the book and the movie focused on as well, when the Chris Kyle character Bradley Cooper comes home, they did a very effective job of people
PTSD.
understanding that pressure, that post-traumatic stress, there are more suicide deaths among our GIs than there are combat deaths.
Right, and he does not take that into consideration. Meanwhile, okay, so that's what Rolling Stone is saying today. Over the last week or so, you know, we've had Seth Rogen and Michael Moore. They've said disparaging things about this particular movie. And then Superman, Dean Cain, actually, who was a friend of Chris Kyle's, came out and defended Chris Kyle. And now, I don't know where he's been, but Alec Baldwin comes in. He doesn't call out the guy like Seth Rogen, who compared the movie to Nazi propaganda. Instead, he called out the guy who criticized Mr. Rogen.
But what you have here, Steve, it's so obvious, isn't it? I mean, Alec Baldwin, I mean, God bless him. I think that he's got a real style and verve, and I don't care that he mouths off very much. But what you have here are people's politics. They're wearing them on their sleeve, and they're disguising them as criticism. Now, the reason he's after Dean Cain is because Dean Cain has a different worldview than he does.
Sure.
Let them fight it out. You know, it's just noise. Hollywood has a preconception that the people who fight in wars, the people that join the army, they're all hicks. You know, they come from, you know, the great middle of the country. We fly over them, going from our party in Los Angeles to our party in New York. You know, there is a disparaging, disdainful view that is unfortunate. And it really reveals, I think, in many ways, the sociological split in the country. You know, we have such a small percentage of our population that actually serves in the military.
But Geraldo, Dean is friends with Chris Kyle.
You got to be around them to love them.
But he's also a friend of him. Alec Baldwin should back out of it. This is a friend of his, and he's defending his friend beyond the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Geraldo, thank you very much for joining us on this Friday.
Okay, miss you guys.
All right, we'll be watching.
You too, Elizabeth. Miss you.